Hello, Algebra 1 students. Welcome back. Today we are going to be solving multi-step inequalities. So for the first several, we're just going to solve each inequality. So for number 1, the first thing we need to do to get x by itself is add 6 to both sides. And then we get 3x is greater than 24. Now to get x by itself, we need to divide by 3 on both sides. And we get x is greater than 8 as our answer. It's exactly what we've been doing, but we're just adding a couple extra steps. So for number 2, to get n by itself, we have n's on both sides, so we need to get them together. So we have to add n, add n. You could take the negative 7 into the other side. It doesn't matter which way you go, but I'm going to do it this way. You guys can choose which way you want to do it. So 5 minus 6n is less than 21. So to get n by itself, we need to subtract 5 from both sides. And we get negative 6n is less than 16. Then we need to divide by negative 6 on both sides. So we get n. Since we divided by a negative number, we have to switch our signs. So n is greater than, and 16 divided by negative 6 is negative. And then we need to reduce that, so it's negative 8 over 6. Over 3. Because we just divided both of those numbers by 2. So that's our answer. N is greater than negative 8 over 3. I want you guys to pause this right now and then do number 3, and then we'll come back and make sure we have the same answer. Okay, I'm back. You can see what I did. I just subtracted 6 from both sides. Then I divided by negative 2 to get 8. And then we divided by negative, so we have to switch the sign. So now it's 8 is greater than or equal to n. Hopefully you guys got that. And if not, we will work on it in class. But we're going to move on. Okay, so now we are at number 4. So 4 is just like we've been doing, but we have to distribute this 5 now. So now we have 22 is greater than or equal to, distribute this 5 to both of these, so we have 10y plus 15 minus 3y. So now we have y's on the same side, so we just need to combine them, not add them. So we have 22 is greater than or equal to 10y minus 3y is 7y plus 15. Then to get y by itself, subtract 15 from both sides. We get 7 is greater than or equal to 7y. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. We get 1 is greater than or equal to y. And that's our answer. Okay, we're going to move on to number 5. We have x's on both sides. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add x to both sides to get all the x's on the same side. So we have 2 is less than 4x minus 6. To get x by itself, we have to add 6 to both sides. So then we get 8 is less than 4x. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. And we get 2 is less than x for our answer. It's just like solving equations, the exact same if this was an equal sign, but it's a less than or greater than sign. So I want you guys to pause it now, do number 6 on your own, and then we'll come back and see if we get the same answer. Okay, I'm back, and you can see what I did. I think where a lot of you might have made a mistake is you need to distribute this negative sign to the 3x and to the 5. So this is kind of like an invisible negative 1. So we get, after we distributed, we get 3 minus 3x minus 5 is greater than 6. So then we just added we combined like terms, and then we added the 2, and then we divide it by a negative 3. And so when we divide it by a negative 3, the sign changed. So we get an answer of x is less than negative 8/3. We're going to move on. Hopefully you guys got that one. Okay, so for these ones, solve each inequality if possible. If the inequality has no solution, write no solution. If the solutions are all real numbers, write all real numbers. So that might not make sense, but I'll show you what that means. So for starters, on number 7, we need to distribute this 2, so we get 6w plus 5 is greater than 6w plus 6. So then we need to get all the w's on the same side, so we subtract 6w from one of the sides, and we get 5 is greater than 6. Now ask yourself, is 5 always greater than 6? No, 5 is never greater than 6, so our answer is no solution. So we're going to move on to 8. We need to distribute this negative 5, so we get negative 5r plus 15 is greater than or equal to negative 5r plus 10. So then we add 5r to both sides to get 15 is greater than or equal to 10. Now ask yourself, is 15 always greater than 10? Yes, so our answer is all real numbers. I want you guys to pause this, do number 9 on your own, and let's see if we get the same answer. Okay, I'm back. You can see what I did. The first thing I did is I distributed this 2 to the n minus 3 to get 2n minus 6 is less than or equal to negative 13 plus 2n. Subtracted 2n from both sides to get negative 6 is less than or equal to negative 13. And I asked myself, is negative 6 always less than negative 13? No, it is not. So our answer is no solution. We're going to move on to number 4, to our last problem. It is a story problem. It's a little confusing, so just bear with me and then we'll get through it together. So, number 11. A family rents a boat for the day while on vacation. The boat's rental rate is $500 for the first 2 hours and $50 for the additional half hour. Suppose the family can spend $700 for the boat total. Write and solve an inequality to represent how many hours the family can be on the boat. So, we know we can only spend $700. And that number has got to be, 700 has to be greater than or equal to $700. So this number that we're gonna write an equation, and it has to be less than or equal to 700. So then we start by we pay up front $500. And then we have to add something. For 2 hours, we spend $500. And for $50 for every half hour. So for every hour that we are on there, they spend $100. So we're going to put 100 times something, and we're going to times it by x. So if it was just x, that's how many hours we spent on there. But we need to do x minus 2 because we've already paid for the first 2 hours. So we spend $500. We already paid them $500. Then we have to add, and we're going to spend, for every hour we're on there, we're going to spend $100 for additional hour. So x is our variable, so x is equal to number of hours we're on there. We're on. And then we've already paid for the first 2, so we don't need to pay that again. So that's why we minus the 2. So when we solve it, we have 500 plus 100x minus, we have to distribute the 100 to the 2 also, so we get 200 is less than or equal to 700. Then we combine our like terms, so we have 500 minus 200, so it's 300 plus 100x is less than or equal to 700. Then we're going to subtract 300 from both sides. So we have 100x is less than or equal to 400. Divide by 100. Divide by 100. So x is less than or equal to 4. And our unit will be 4 hours. Because that is, we can be on there for 4 hours total for our cost to be $700 or less. So we can't spend 1 minute more than 4 hours. So if that didn't make sense, hopefully it did, but if it didn't, we'll work on it in class together. So bring your stuff to class and be ready to work hard. Have a great night, guys.